I realised that I haven't watched too many 2024 releases, and I'm trying to rectify that. So I had a look through the streaming sites that I have access to, Netflix, Prime, etc. And really the only film that stood out to me is Strawberry Shortcake Spring Spectacular. Now this is borderline feature length. It's 45 minutes, and I do kind of like Strawberry Shortcake. I haven't seen too much of the character, but what I've seen I have enjoyed. Generally the animation is really great, so I thought I'd give it a watch. And actually the animation for this one is quite different to any other Strawberry Shortcake that I've seen. Not necessarily a bad thing, but certainly it wasn't what I was expecting. The film's directed by Jim Miller and written by Michael Vogel, and it's got quite a sweet narrative. Strawberry Shortcake is taking part in this flower festival, and she's trying to create this beautiful float. However, we have a pretty great antagonist called Pumpkin Spice, and I was a little bit heartbroken when I realised Pumpkin Spice was the antagonist because I love Pumpkin Spice, but the character was very well done with pumpkin earrings. She wears pumpkin earrings and I want them, and she's going to do everything she can to try and sabotage Strawberry Shortcake's chances of doing well in the flower festival. And it's a pretty straightforward narrative and everything works really well. I think there are quite a lot of really great messages in this as well. For example, we have the message of don't sabotage people, but also Strawberry Shortcake, when things go a little bit awry, she has to realise that she shouldn't be focusing on what she doesn't have or what she's missing out on, but she should instead focus on what she has. And I think that's a difficult thing to remember, because if we're going for something, a goal, trying to achieve something, and we don't hit that achievement, it is so easy to get caught up in that and feel like we've failed or feel disappointed. And if somebody says, well, be grateful for what you have, it's difficult to shift the mindset, but it's a beautiful message, and I think one that anybody of any age can do well to remember, not just young children. I definitely feel like this is more aimed at children than being a family film, but at 32 years old, I do not care. I still enjoyed it. So it's a fun narrative. We have some great characters. I loved Pumpkin Spice. I really did. And the animation itself, as I said, is a little different, at least in terms of any Strawberry Shortcakes that I have seen. I don't know if there are any others that are like this, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not what I was expecting. But actually the animation is very well done. As is always the case with Strawberry Shortcake, we have a really gorgeous colour palette. Obviously, there are a lot of pinks in this and so many other bright colours. It's very, very attractive. I really enjoyed the visual elements here. So it ticks every box. We have really nice animation, really great characters, a really nice narrative with some really great messages. It's definitely worth watching if it sounds like something that would appeal to you. If you're completely new to Strawberry Shortcake, as I said, I haven't seen an extensive amount of the films and TV episodes, but that doesn't bother me at all. I will always endeavour to watch more, of course, but the point there is that you don't need to be too familiar with the character to be able to follow this. It is, of course, quite sickly sweet. So if you're not a fan of sickly sweet animations, it might not be for you. But if that's something you're not bothered about, or indeed if, like me, you actually gravitate towards, then it might really appeal to you. I rather enjoyed it, and I can now say I have watched one more 2024 film because I am really lacking. But as I said, there's not really a tremendous amount out there at the moment that I'm particularly interested in seeing. I think I'm going to watch Unfrosted at some point, but other than that, there's nothing on my horizon. So if you can recommend any 2024 releases, whether you're listening to this in 2024 or sometime down the future and it's no longer 2024 because next year will creep up on us before we know it, always happy for recommendations, and I'm personally very happy to recommend Strawberry Shortcake Spring Spectacular.